हेलो एवरीवन, आप हैं रिया के साथ ऑन मना टीवी इंटरनेशनल. You can watch us live worldwide on YUPP network and can subscribe to our Facebook channel and YouTube channel as well. Welcome to yet another episode of Healthy Habits. For many of us, COVID-19 has meant big changes, but not all those changes have been bad. Many people have discovered more time that they are spending with their families and friends. People have experienced a better connection with the environment around and the home and everyone. Some have started new hobbies and getting more exercise. So, what are other healthy habits that we all can embrace during the pandemic and what those good behaviors should be? So, let's talk on healthy habits towards pandemic. हमारे साथ हैं डॉक्टर प्रतिभा फाटके गुप्ता. Welcome, Pratibha. It's so nice to have you here again.
Thank you, Rhea, and thank you to Mana TV International for providing these information to our audience, right? And I'm really excited about this because of the fact that, no matter what we do, but our life is more important than anybody else's life, And this pandemic time, not everybody's lifestyle will suit for your lifestyle, right? So you don't have to look into magazine or anything else. You have to look in your own schedule, in your own family, and on your lifestyle. How do you basically, do things better for you?
So Pratibha, since we know that, from the start of pandemic, the lifestyle has grown way different. Like, it's like more and more, it's more or less healthy, but I don't know if that is a good statement for everyone. Like, this is a question that is little complicated, that it's if the lifestyle become healthier or no. But what are those basic habits that we should follow when we are being stuck at home, right? I mean, during pandemic, we all are at home. So what are those basic habits that we should follow being at home?
See, one good question I have, and also the answer I have, and the question is that how disciplined are you? Because life is going to be just like that. Pandemic is going to be there for some time. You can't get away from that, right? And majority of the places you see that they're also not open completely. People are working from home, right? Men, women, children. There are so many places they are still available like that. And you never know when the time comes in, then you'll still be going to a lockdown stage, right? You never know. And so we have to be more suitable and available for these kind of circumstances, right? So we can complain. So next, let's go put that thing away. We can complain that because of this, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, right? So that's not going to happen. Okay. Number two, organize your lifestyle. Okay. So sit down in one day with the family and have a schedule a day. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scheduler day. Let's say, for example, you wake up at whatever time you wake up. If your children are going to school, I think some of the schools are open now. People go to school, but parents are still working at home. But I believe schedule is still important, even if you're working from home. I definitely feel like I have seen a lot of families. They wake up anytime they want, and they don't take a shower in the morning, and they are in their pajamas all day until the end of the day. When the children come home, they see their parents. Oh, okay. I have experienced that a lot of times. So I better feel that when you are at home, I definitely, Ria, this is the best thing you can ever do. Even if you're at home, just express yourself as if you're going to work. Get up in the morning, the same schedule of shower, same dress up, same dress code, same makeup, whatever you do for your workplace, because you are respecting. When you're going to work, then you are getting ready, right? When you're home, you say, well, I'm not getting ready and I'm not going to do makeup. But no, you are actually doing makeup for yourself to have a good self-image. Because once you get ready, believe me, not trust me, your energy level goes very high. Why? Because you dress up and you're looking at your face in a mirror, it will give you a little impact of being energetic. And trust me, try this train, Mana TV, audience, if you're listening to me today, please try that. One day you wake up in the morning and do the same style routine and get dressed up, whatever the dress you like to, and makeup or things like that, exactly the way it is going to be, you're going to work. And then use the same pattern of breakfast, the time schedule, like your 9 o'clock, your breakfast time, right? For example, and if your children are at home or you are home, 9 to 10, you can take a little break time, which is called outdoor activities. Maybe you can go outside in a garden or water the plants, and or pick up the flowers or, walk around or have a bird feeder, things like that. You can do that, little activities of that. Then you can come by 10 to 11 o'clock, like you do academic activities because you're working as well, right? So things like that. And for example, let's say and in between you can have a movement break. And movement break means like you can have your finger exercise, your hand exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and like a something exercise like these exercise, and you can have your foot movement, little bit more of that, or the chair that you are moving, chair which is movable, or chair is a static chair, whichever is there, you can have little movements of your body. And you can also, for example, let's say, something like create something like a creative time as well. It's like, for example, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. If you are interested in your, in your writing skills you have, or you have a, poetry writing, or something
Mm-hmm.
like artwork or flower decoration, or something, a planting a plant, you can do that as well. For example, in 10-15 minutes doesn't make any difference, right? So you're actually charging your energy level, because same old sitting in front of a computer
Mm-hmm.
can
That's
make you
true.
mentally exhausted, and your mind gets so exhausted, so in fact, the kind of work you'll be doing will be more like a getting distracted, right? And you feel very, very uncomfortable for that. So choice is yours. For example, and let's say, and you have a lunch at 12 o'clock, and don't snack in between, because work means work. You're working, you're disciplined like that. So you know exactly 12 o'clock, I'm going to be getting up in 15, 20 minutes, fix up something which does not require your extra time, right? Not elaborate
Mm-hmm.
cooking, right? Not elaborate thing, just like workplace, right? So not elaborate cooking, not making more other elaborate meals and things like that. And especially for Indian families, sometimes what happens, dal chawal, roti, sabji, everything goes there in a pan, and then it becomes more kind of uncomfortable. And then also if you have a lunchtime, and after the lunchtime, maybe you can take maybe 5 to 10 minutes, your power nap. Power nap means like, to relax yourself, do a little meditation, so you can get back to your work again. And
Mm-hmm.
also, for example, schedule a time, maybe 1 to 2 p.m., maybe about 40 minutes or 30 minutes. You can put your laundry, in your things, if you have a laundry to be taken care of, or maybe drying, by the time your laundry is done, put it right away into the dryer. And by the time you're putting laundry in the other one, you can take the clothes out and fold it while you're talking to people on the phone, right? And so you can do those things, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, can accommodate. Don't wait for the, like a religious time. Today is my laundry day, all day you're going to do laundry. Not really, because if you break your events or activities into small pieces, you can get it done very easily. For example, even for cooking as well, you have a 4 different cooking stations on your cooking devices, correct? You can put
Mm-hmm.
4 pans at the same time, and you can
Right.
organize 4 things can be cooked in right one time. It was a very interesting question I was asked by my professor. He asked me that, if you have to make 10 pieces of chicken grilled, and if you have to make a 50 pieces of grilled chicken, how much time would it take? Many people answered this question, it'll take a couple of hours, things like that. He said no. And when I was asked this question, I said no, it will take the same time. So he asked me, explain to me how. I said, your cooking grill can accommodate so many things at the same time. You prepare everything ahead of time. So whether it's a 5 pieces or 50 pieces, you organize in a way it can be cooked at the same time, right? So this is how
Yeah.
you can organize your time. And also home chores are important too, right? You can put while you are, in a break time. So instead of break time checking your cell phone for WhatsApp, I definitely feel that you should better take your mower or lawnmower, or a little bit, 5-10 minutes is not going to be harming you, because it's going to be more activity, and your chores will be done, and you'll be done. And at the end of the day, your house is clean. House is more clean in the sense because you just mop the floor, or you just vacuum the floor for 5-10. In fact, in 10 minutes you can do one large living room, right? Am I correct? in 10
Yes.
minutes in 10 minutes you can fold 5 clothes, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In 10 minutes you can use your time to open the letters, organize your letters in a folder, right? And in fact, in 10 minutes you can cut 5 apples, or 5 bananas, or 5 potatoes. You can cut that, right? Things like that, right? So
Yeah.
ideally, and then you have movement time, evening time, for example, let's say, and you have academic time again. So you go 2 to 4 o'clock again, your academic time where you're working. Then again, you take a movement break, for example, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes movement break. And then, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, you can go outdoor activities, maybe play some little tennis or in your backyard, or you run, or you play some soccer ball. Anything doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can have some little, activity, little bit ball, or playing with your pets, or, you can do a little running or outdoor, like in a neighborhood. You can walk for some time or run a little bit. And then, then 5 to 6, like I say, family time, let's go, everybody get together, we have something, for our, discussion, whatever. You can have family time, like maybe watch some news or something related to it. And then 6, 7 o'clock, you can have dinner, right? So the thing is that when you're already designed in your mind, your creative activity, trust me, you will be so relaxed because you didn't get bored, right? I have seen a lot of families say, well, I get so bored looking at a computer screen. Nobody told you to have a computer screen right like this. You are authorized to blink your eyes for 5, 10 minutes and relax, right? People say that, right? You can still do that, right? And nobody has said that, no, I don't feel hungry, I just have to order the food. And especially DoorDash, right? Think about that. How could you not do in 10 minutes a small little meal prep? One more suggestion I can give, Ria, to our audience is that majority of the families, especially from Indian families, they have to make a dal or a rice, things like that. So I actually have a crock pot. The crock pot has 3 compartments in there. Okay, you can make three dals or 3 lentils at the same time. You plug it in overnight. Overnight, you put all the dals or all the lentils in the night, and next morning everything is done, right? And next morning you can have a rice in the rice cooker, or there are a lot of like Instapots, right? Instapot, you can make yogurt, right? Instapot, you can do anything when you want, right? So there is no excuse. In fact, you don't even have to go to kitchen. You can have a tabletop cooking, and you teach your children how to measure things in there, and you can cook those things.
So basically, schedule is like, the way we understand schedule is definitely important. And the way you have laid out the whole day when we are work from is definitely amazing. All right. Because I am guilty of that too. Like, the whole day working and in front of the screen, we do not get up. We do not go out. And so like taking your schedule, that's definitely helpful. But in those cases, like Pratibha, when we unfortunately have someone, a COVID patient at home, but there may be like, cases where we are quarantined, or the COVID patient have to be like, he has COVID. So what are the precautions in those cases that we should take, or other family members that are there at home with a COVID patient in the home also?
Very good question. In fact, one of my family member had the situation. So usually, ideally, most of the homes have the bedrooms, and right next to that there is a bathroom, right? So make sure you station that person right next to the bathroom, right? So wherever the person is there, so they don't have to go in and out here and there. So find that particular bathroom for that person only. Number 2, for the food purposes, buy some styrofoam boxes, right? Something which is throwable, correct? So you pack up the food in there for them, will be healthier food, which relates to, for example, any of the food which has a lot of vitamin D in there, vitamin C, vitamins, D, A, and different vitamins, nutrients that are, rich in those foods. Those kind of foods can be cooked and make it, and then put in the boxes like that, and leave to their door, and then text them, hey, your food is outside the door. You pick up your food, so you don't see them, right? Practically do not see them at all, because that will quarantine means practically not to touch, not to do, but and with a distance you can also, and have a disposable, masking as well when they come out, and they don't need to come out as well. And for them also, same activity applies to the same thing. You can text them, you can talk to them, or have a FaceTime with them with entertainment purposes, so they don't get quarantine. Quarantine doesn't mean it was just a wall behind you, right? It was a wall inside, because you're, protecting yourself, and and medicine kits or waters, everything right in their place, where they don't have to run around. They don't have to keep calling mom or dad or things like that, or anybody else. So keep everything ready right in front of them, And I used to keep them like a food bars or like a chips or snack. And usually, it may be more like a funny thing. And I tell you that is because in this kind of sickness, when you feel like eating something junk food. It's okay to have junk food, because junk foods are not liked by these viruses. So you might get better faster because you're eating junk food. See, junk food has more calories, but they're not nutritive, right? They don't have nutrition. And these viruses, they need more nutrition. So if you don't provide them, I'm just giving you just like a, just like a hilarious material, because and that time you can eat some chips and stuff like that. So that way you don't have to, because during that time, what happens, your taste is going a little bit different. You may not taste things better, right? Something tastes like better, or you may not feel hungry also at that time, right? So these things can increase your appetite. These junk
Yeah.
foods can increase your appetite. So at least you have something in your body rather than having healthy meals. And another thing also, Ria, I think if your audience are interested to follow this regime as well, you can have boiling water. In that boiling water, you can have ginger and little lemon pieces and a little bit more herbs and spices, which includes your turmeric and ajwain or fennel seeds. These things you can keep boiling, and keep that water in a filter container and drink as a tea. Okay, and
Yeah.
that really help a lot, because that way you have more, something to release those viruses and to make more healthier regime like that.
Right.
And also, in area, I use a lot of paper towels for the person who is in a quarantine, because you don't want to use your towels, let them know. And then, so throwable, and have a garbage bag right inside, and ask the person who is quarantined to, whatever you use, you put in a garbage bag, trash it, and put it there and keep it outside, so you can remove that right away. Don't hold off something like that. And for the medicine purpose, if they're taking medicine, and that also should be right, everything right inside their rooms. And for example, temperature, thermometers, right? Those can be done in medicines if they like, medicines, because during that time you might feel a little like, tired. So the Tylenol and other medicines should be there. And don't use any of those utensils, because then you have to clean and things like that. Use all the disposable papers and paper plates and things like that, so you can throw it away. And also disinfectant, of course, disinfectant should be
Yeah.
there. And I prefer having air purifier inside the room. Air purifiers are available. If anybody's interested, you can find in the Google or wherever. And those air purifiers can maintain the air, because you're not going in and out, right? You have to be staying in your room, right? And again, this is just a physical thing. You can guide them, you can tell them, hey, I'm here, if you need anything, let me know. Making something available, in fact, if they have a small little television, just put a television in their rooms as well, so they can watch television and
That's true.
things like that, and have some air freshener inside the room, right? So they don't feel like uncomfortable because your room gets messy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
So
and
basically making their life easier a little bit, because obviously, like, the way they already have pandemic, they already have COVID, so they're already feeling low. The health wise, they are like anyway low. So I really like, like your idea of like, air fresheners and like TV, because those things are sometimes they are not looked after. Like, I mean, we make sure that they have bed and all everything, but not these specific things. But Pratibha, on the other side, like, I really like, you were saying that snacking is fine, the unhealthy snacking during that time. But what about specific nutrients, right? I mean, are there any specific nutrients that you would refer, and any specific recipes that, like, we will be able to feed COVID-19 patient, like, to help them regain their energy easily and faster, basically?
see, ideally, Ria, we know liquidy food is good, because we don't want to have a digestive problems also, because if you're eating, because you're not going to move around a lot, right? So you're
Yes.
going to stay in the same room, right? So there may not be chances that you are going to be physical moving, right? So they,
Yeah.
you can guide them a little bit physical activity, which is maybe like a spot jogging or spot walking, things like that. But ideally, something related to like more, lentil soups are good with the vegetables, like lentil soup.
Okay.
Adding garlic, onion, and ginger in those soups are better, kind of for immune system, because they're also good for, these are like a, have a more nutrients to prevent you against the infections as well. And if you are a meat eater, chicken soups are good enough too. And nowadays there are some like, ready-made soups available, and like cheese and macaroni soups are great,
Uh-huh.
and some children love those cheese macaroni soup. And making more like noodles, pad thai noodles, something different food that can increase their appetite. Something spicy, something little flavorful food. And right now, like a Thai food or Chinese food, it can be made in your home very easily with a small little, preparation time. That can be done. And maybe you can make all the meals for every one of them and add a little extra vegetables, extra fruits in there, and maybe fruit salads, right? For example, nowadays, you can make yogurt at home. Instapots are great for making yogurt
Right.
at home. And you can make small little containers, like there are a lot of small containers available, and transfer the yogurts into the small containers, and give out like
Mhm.
to everyone. Maybe there are
That-
disposable containers, put those in. And one thing recently I've started to do that, like, for example, like a container, like a glass. And in that glass container, I put a layer of yogurt and I put one fruit, strawberry, pineapple, whatever, and I can put their layered yogurt and the fruit and yogurt and layer the food, and then put it in my fridge, and it's like a grab and go. So you prepare ahead of time, so you don't need a bigger container of yogurts, because sometimes people get bored out of it. It
Yes.
looks very nicer also, like if you have a container. And sometimes ice creams are great. If you have ice cream can have little fruits in there too, right? So they're also good for snacking and for a good appetite increase, to increase appetite. Sometimes what happens, the fruits are like great, but ideally I've seen that people say, well, apple no, but make a good fruit bowl, bowl of a fruits, bowl of something. If you're giving a cereal should be loaded with the good fruits in there. And hot cereals are better because of the fact that they digest faster. And oatmeals are great. Hot oatmeals are great from Indian families, like upmas, upma with a lot of vegetables. Those are good breakfast. And sometimes idlis are great too, with a lot of vegetables in it. So you can have a couple
Yeah.
of idlis, with a lot of lentil soup, right? So, and good thing is that I don't know whether people will try this or not. Having a salad wrap. Salad wraps are the great source, and they look very fancy, and they're very less in a preparation time, and does not need any cooking. It does need a fixing, which means that you can buy the lettuce. The lettuce are available, and you can have those. In fact, the cabbage, you can steam the cabbage to make it more softer, and you can fill up any fillings you want. Maybe potato filling, potato green pea filling, or if you're a meat eater, you can have a meat eating. A lot of vegetables, mixed a lot of vegetables, make it like a dough, and put those dough, in your salad wraps, and wrap it and put it, in a fridge. It becomes like a bite-sized good meal. Okay, and
Right.
you can make those dressings, right, with the soy sauce or chili pepper sauce, things like that. So during the pandemic time, you feel like eating something totally different. So, Ria, this is like a very unrealistic and unusual recipe I'm going to give you, because a person who is in quarantine cannot cook anything,
Yeah.
right?
That-
And also, their taste of your taste buds are not that common, right? So they may or may not use the same food that they were used to of, right?
That's
So
true.
sometimes you have to experiment with them as well.
That's
So,
true.
for example, my daughter, she was not able to eat something different. So I was able to provide her something very like a chicken curry, the curried chicken or
Uh,
something with the rice, right? And something like a butter chicken or something related to like, matar paneer, something related to that. Even
uh,
though it may, but it depends on the person's choice as well.
yeah.
We don't want to make them more sick, right? They're already
Yeah.
sick,
I
they're
really
already
agree. Yeah.
uncomfortable, they're already in night there. So you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And the person who is sick doesn't mean that needs to feel like a sick. They can eat what they like. If they like to eat, fine. And in case if there is some allergy or anything, then you can choose
Then
based on their allergy things as well.
right.
And so it doesn't really matter. And my daughter used to love those salad wraps. So I would just go for that. So if they choose it, that's great. At least something is there. So as
Something.
long as the person is eating very happily, and that person is suitable for their, for their tongue, and they're liking it, and it's okay. It's okay, because it's after all that. So there is no standard recipe for somebody assigned that, because everybody's body is totally different, right?
Everything.
We all are different, and I'm just talking about in perspectives of, our Indian families or Asian families, where people are more, interested into more cooking pattern. They have different pattern, right? So,
And
and
definitely pandemic has shown us like, no ways of cooking, like, because we are at home, so we are trying different recipes, and like, and that definitely have increased our cooking skills also. But a lot of good recipes, and hopefully, we are able to, give a lot of good tips to our viewers. Pandemic is still there. We are hoping this ends soon, but unfortunately, still we are there. It's still opening, but again, we still have to deal with a lot of things. Staying in pandemics, stuck at home, kids going to school, and that's a scary situation also. But again, God forbid if anyone gets COVID, staying at home and then quarantine. Hopefully, the tips that Pratibha has provided, they are amazing tips. Please, viewers, try to follow them. Again, it's like a kind of a buffet. We have given you tons of things. Pick and choose whatever suits you, your body, your mind, your lifestyle. But thank you, Pratibha. They were like amazing tips, and a lot of the things that we don't even think about. And listening from you, it stucks the mind that, oh yes, like this could have been done, and we did not even thought about that. So amazing. This was a lot of good information. Thanks, Pratibha. Thanks for being here with us. We will see you back again on the next show. Till then, bye.
Thank you, Ria, and thank you, Mana TV International, for this beautiful audience and beautiful show. And we'll see you again. Until then, have a great
Thank
time.
you.